Hello again, everybody. It's Harry Boxer, the Technical Trader. Monday night, February the 27th, 2012, and these are the charts of the day. Despite the fact that the technicals are weakening and that even advanced declines were negative today on the New York Stock Exchange, the market continued to try to press higher, but I think we're getting long in the tooth and showing signs of weakness. Some negative divergences. We've got to be really careful here, but as long as the market continues to show us stocks that jump 10, 20, 25% in a day and breaking out, we'll show you some of those. ATPG today, this oil and gas company broke out across the declining tops line, which has gone all the way back to May of last year. Now you notice that after the steep drop in November and the bounce, it then formed a 4-month basing pattern. Today, a clean breakout with a pop 19% or $1.35 on 12 million shares nearly, and so potentially strong breakout, the biggest volume we've seen in at least a year and a half. So that's portends well for more upside. I have a target up around 10.5 to 11.5 zone up in here. Let's see what we get with that one. Excuse me, CAAS. Well, China Automotive had been forming a nice little base potentially with this thrust up to resistance on this 2-month flag. Today that was broken with a thrust. 400,000 shares traded, the biggest volume in months now, and more importantly, going all the way back to June of last year. More importantly, the stock ran up through this first resistance level and took out the declining tops line, got to the second level and backed up a little bit, but still closed it near the upper end of the range, up 88 cents or 16.5% today. So let's see if we can get some follow through, and if we do, would not be shocked to see this in the 8-9 zone. TGC Industries, symbol TGE, jumped $1.48 or 16.4% on 700,000. That's the biggest volume since March of last year, nearly a year. More importantly, this lateral price resistance here, which was broken a couple days ago and then retested, was exploded off of today and could lead to much higher levels. Looking at a long-term chart, you'll see the multi-year highs at 15.5 are near there. That would be my short-term target up around 13 and then 15. Big day for PEIX. On the daily chart, you'll see that the big coil pattern, which we noted, and lateral price resistance took out yesterday, followed through today. The early December highs were taken out as it reached $1.69, although we closed off a little bit, $1.61 up 22 cents, 15.8%. 35.6 million traded. That's the biggest volume since November when we peaked out here. So let's see if we can extend and retest the spike high that took place at 185 on November the 16th. If we get through that, my target's 240.45 range. Nice pop today for CBLI. It jumped 50 cents or 15% on pretty decent volume for that stock. It's the heaviest volume in weeks, if not months. And we're up against into this gap here. Watch to see if this extends, and if it does, my target's 5.25 thereabout. I wanted to show you IMOS because of the strong move it's had after it broke out of the hidden shoulders. The pop, the consolidation to a 20-day moving average, and then the explosive move on Friday, and then today it reached the declining tops line and closed right on it. So we may even see from the more follow through that gets us towards 14.5 before we pull back, but it's getting long in the tooth and overbought. CQP, nice move today, broke it out of this wedge or coiling type pattern with an explosive move of 280 or 13.4%, 1.5 million traded. Now going back, you'll see that key resistance here was broken, flagged or coiled above it, and then today the big volume breakout. What I'd look for now is a move up near the, and then we may get that early tomorrow up just above here in about 24.5. And should it get through there, then we're looking at all-time high territory and a stock that may very well extend the move up into the high 20s. LNG, another nice move today. You can see that it's been trending up in a beautiful channel ever since mid-December when it was trading around 8. It's now nearly doubled. Today's high 16.25 actually did double it, and then it backed off to close at 15.71. Nevertheless, up $1.66 or 12% on 19.4 million shares, and I'm still looking for more upside progress to get it to 17-18 zone. OREX, OREX, which has reached a double resistance level today, got through it and then backed off and closed right at it. May have some trouble getting through here, particularly with its heavy volume up at these resistance levels. But it's already moved from $1.46 to about $4.37, nearly tripling. And in the last 2.5 months, And there's a huge gap in here that could provide some resistance, so be careful on OREX. DSCO, another runner, trending here nicely with a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5-way move and spiked up through the high near the declining tops line. This may be overbought short term as well, but very close to reaching my swing trade target. And if it blows through here, we may even see as high as 490 or 5. Royal, well, it's had a nice pattern after breaking out of the basing pattern here with a thrust. It then coiled for a couple months, broke out, pulled back, broke out, flagged, and then exploded on Friday with a follow through today. It took it up to almost 7. That was my target, 7,705. We got to 698 today. And the stock then backed off to close at 659, still up 54 cents or 9%, 3.6 million traded. Strong volume, and at this point, it wouldn't shock me if we did see 7.5 3/4. FTK, wanted to show you the short-term pattern because we've broken out across this falling wedge and then back across the moving averages. Today, spiking up to close at 1238, up 92 cents or 8%, and 2.9 million nearly traded. The biggest volume on an up day since early January. So it's good stuff here. I'm expecting a test of this high around 1371 next. And if we break through that, we could see as high as 17. AMED had a significant breakout day running across these highs on a little spurt in volume here of 1.4 million, up 8%, 94 cents. My target being around 14.90 to 15. HOTT broke out with a thrust today, the biggest volume since November, and it popped 7 3/4% or 65 cents on 1.4 million. That's, like I said, the biggest volume in a while. More importantly, if you look at the chart, you see that this double top was taken out, as was the declining tops line going way back. And at this point, I have a swing trade on it for a move that could take us up near 11. VVUS, explosive move the last couple of days has taken it from 1881 to 2514, backed off to 2378, still up $1.65 or 7.5%, 35 million nearly traded today. And this stock is at a key resistance zone, so we may see some consolidation and pullback. But should it get through here, this can absolutely fly. Absolutely fly. We're at the top of the channel long term. And this is a 7-year channel at the top of that and lateral price resistance. So we could see some difficulty in the area or consolidation. Should it blow through here, this stock could just fly. I'm not even sure where, but it looks to me like it could get up at least to 28 short term. CLNE, significant move underway. You can see how it spiked up to the top. Excuse me, top of the channel, and closed up $1.39 or 7.5% on 4.7 million. That's the biggest volume we've seen since this spike up here, 4.7 million as well, which stalled out at resistance. But when you step back and look at the overall pattern, you'll see that key resistance was taken out here. Secondary resistance here. I mean, this very well may get up towards 23.5, 24 if it does accelerate here before it runs into many problems. Low-priced LEI Energy, Lucas Energy, which had formed a nice head and shoulders here, broke out and pulled back from the trend line and rising channel. Now the channel, the prior highs in January were taken out yesterday and followed through today, getting up to 324, just underneath the 330 high of July. And there's about a 330.46 high in June. So that 337 to 46 high plus the top of the channel is nearly upon us, and my swing trade target would have been met right in this range here. Should we blow through this area, we may very well see this get up towards 4.5 3/4, maybe even 5 1/4. But that's secondary targets, and will require a lot of volume. Soda, following through today, 3 days in a row, has moved from 38.5 up to today's high at 46.80, so about an 8-point move in 3 days, taking you through this resistance zone, and then backing off about $1.75 to close. It's still up 60 cents, but it gave back a big chunk of its gains, almost all of it. It was the biggest volume traded here since early January when the stock spiked up. So the top of the channel measures around 49 to 50, and that's where my target remains, but we may stall in this area for a couple of days and then go. That's it for tonight. Tomorrow we'll be looking at some boxer shorts. Good evening.